In this lesson, you will learn how to use the business rule set field value in order to increase a numeric value by an increment. What's the use case, for instance, for such a functionality, such a rule? Let's go first into the quality module and look at the test cases. So I have here a few test cases, and when I go on the test case itself, I can see there's a status for this test. The test is currently in new. I can move it into design, so then the design part will start, and awaiting a review and so on until I can move it to ready. So now from the workflow perspective, this test is ready and can be used for execution, can be used to plan and release and so on. I would also like to count whenever this test case is moved back from ready to in design. I want to understand how often our test cases are moved back to InDesign in order to get the changes and so on. So this move I would like to capture on a field and increase the field if a test is moved from ready to InDesign. And therefore, what we need to do is we will create an field, an integer field on the test, and apply the business rule to that field. So let's see how this can work. So let's go to the spaces. Make sure we have the correct workspace selected and we are on the correct entity. Now we go to the area fields, add a new field, and say this is just in design counter. In design counter, so this is here just in design counter. This is not a list field, it's an integer field. I can also, this is trendable, so later on I can create reports and analysis on the quality perspective. So this is up to you. If you want to report on that field, this makes sense. Otherwise you can still report, but it will be more not a time-based report, but more like a summary report. So this is okay. I will not activate it for now. Let's say add the field. And let's take a look how this field looks like. So I will also, no, let's go back and add it on the entity. So now I'm on the test entity. Let's add the field in design counter. And I can see this is here. Currently it's empty. So I will now increase this by 1 increment. So let's do it. Go back to the administration, spaces. On the spaces, you go to manual test and go to the rules. And now we say set field value when saving an entity. So I would like to really, when the workflow is applied, I would like to select this in design counter and increment value by 1. So, and let's say here in the condition, I select the field phase. And in phase, I can now say, because I want to capture the old value and the new value, so the new value will be current value. So let's say if current value is in design, so the one which is saved, and if on the same field, which is phase, the old value, which was the original value, is from ready. So that would be my rule. So let's go here and see increment by 1, set the field value when the entity is saved, and this is the condition. So when the new value is in design and the old value was ready. So let's say okay, save it, and let's go back and see how this applies. So currently I'm on the test. So let's say I go into review. This is reviewed. I go to move to ready. And now I can say there's in design required. Because of the release, we need to change something. Now I can see it has been increased to 1. Let's continue. Move to ready again. And if I come back now, it should increase to 2. So this is working, which allows me to now count how often I've come back to in design phase from whenever the test was ready. So if you would have created this now as a trend field, you would also be able to see on a timeline how this is working, how often test cases are pushed back to in design from being in ready workflow already. So this is a great way to use the increment feature, and also in this lesson you saw how you can refer back to a field value which was changed and get the old and the new value at the same time using the business rules.